Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can. And yeah, your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard Streams. I am joined, as always, by the best of the West you can't forget about. Sarah Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I'm fine. My throat is feeling sore, so that's not fun.
We getting sick? It's the heat. It's the heat.
No, it's not. It's actually
why?
getting colder.
Well, that's okay. That's
it's
good.
It's 63 right now, but It was 46 this morning.
Oh, that's heaven for you.
Yeah.
That's
we're
heaven.
80 and under now. So woo! But then I was like freezing ass cold 2 days ago, and I was like, this is what I wanted though. So like, I gotta embrace it.
You just manifested your own destiny, essentially.
I guess.
Look at how you started with the weather, and now we can move forward into your own life. You decide that. I'm not the decider of your life. Your life, my life, doesn't matter. All right. We're talking wrestling here today. It is the No Nights Off Super Show. We got some AEW that we're going to talk about. What else? Signings. Some crazy shit's going on in WWE. And it is historic. That's what it is. And we're going to talk about it, especially with some familiar faces that I have seen on the indies. So very excited to dive into that. And then obviously we're going to wrap up with the 1, 2, 3 count. And Sarah, we're back with the bad gal. I don't know if we are back. We got the brutality era out of the way. All right. You dealt with what's up, Remy? You got out of the brutality era because you defeated Rhea and Dom, and you finished your chapter of your story.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing I'm royal rambling over here. We have to hear from the peeps, and no, Remy, that doesn't mean you. All right, you can sit and watch and listen, but we have wrestling to talk about and peeps to highlight. Lenice, what's popping, girl? I'm doing well. All right. Not too bad. Nathaniel, Sarah, my Lakers keep losing. Are you?
No, because I'm a Celtics fan. So
Yes, Nathaniel. My Lakers sweater is awesome. Lenice, happy birthday!
Woo-hoo!
Happy birthday! All right. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
David is here. Was popping, and Sophia, Patty Pitts, and you did. And his name is Matt. My name is Pat. I have a brother Matt. I have a brother Matt too. So
Pat and Matt.
Look at that, Pat and Matt. Look at that. Thanks for joining in on today's show. Really appreciate it. That's a new follower, Sarah.
I saw.
A new follower. We're gaining followers little by little.
We're at 2,100, by the way.
I'll raise the left shoulder because the right one hurts.
2101.
All right, guys. Let's go. Let's keep it up. All right, let's get that shit moving so that we can get more followers and we can talk wrestling for our full-time jobs forever. That's what we want. I just want to do that. I don't want selfish. All right. Enough of the pepping. We have to. Are you dealing with what is going on with Remy? She
just assaulted me.
I was going to transition there, Sarah, and Remy, it just wants to be the spotlight. I'm fine with it if Remy can discuss why Jon Moxley is doing what he is doing.
She can't.
Across AEW.
No, she can't.
Well, she should. All right, because it's incredible. You even tuned into a little Collision this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were texting me while I was out, and I'm like, I like this. All right. And then I went back and watched it, and your comments are hilarious. Like, it is For
like,
like,
this dude called Monster and this other dude called Hawk. I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
And they pull up, I'm like, oh my god, it's Brian Cage and Lance Archer.
But I was like, they just refer to each other as Hawk and Monster.
That's basically what they are. I mean, it was just, and then what was the other thing? Oh, the Undisputed Kingdom. Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, that whole interaction. Same thing.
Yeah, I was like the other guy. I don't know.
One of those is BRG's OG trainer, which is interesting. But yeah. Yeah, those are a few things that we thought. Well, let's just go. Enough of the transitions. Hit it.
Be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sara. Be a rosebud. It is time for our lemons and rosebuds of the week. Our favorite, which are the rosebuds, and least favorite, the lemons, of what we saw in professional wrestling this week. Doesn't matter if it was on a show, if it was a tweet, if it was an interview, podcast interview, which shout out CVV. You're my consistent rosebud when I have to drive around the great state of Massachusetts. So those interviews are awesome. The Ricochet one was really good, Sara. Like the Ricochet one was really good. And then oh shit, who did he interview? Someone in AEW. It'll come to me. But the Ricochet one I just listened to, they go into the Samantha Irvin stuff. And I'm not kidding. Like, I'm happy for Ricochet. After listening to that interview and then seeing him on AEW, I'm very happy where he's at. All right, moving on. That's one of my favorite things, but you didn't tell me yours, Sara. So what is your rosebud of the week?
It is an interview with Seth Rollins, and he was talking about how WWE is lacking a solid heel or more than one to match their baby faces, because he's talking about how we're kind of in like a babyface era in WWE where there are I would say like the mid 2000s, 2010s was all about the heels. I mean, if we're going to talk about like Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, when, whatever, like all of that it was so heavy on heels. They're kind of in the opposite era now, which is still a problem because if you don't have the equal on the other side,
who are they fighting?
Right. So he said some of our bigger booms have been with face champions. You look at the last 4 years, Roman Reigns has been the guy, the tribal chief, and he's been the biggest heel. Right now, we're riding with Cody Rhodes, and we're sort of in the era of baby faces. You have guys like myself, Cody, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn. Roman is back as a baby face. You have this era where everything is clicking and people are loving so much of what is going on. I'm looking around and thinking, we're missing some good heels around here. The business is cyclical, and you have to ride the waves given to you and figure out how to make the most money you can off of that. You look at guys like Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Bruno Sammartino. A lot of the biggest box offices have been built on top baby faces. I agree with him, and we've talked about this before, where it's kind of like a criticism that I mean, I'm going to just speak for myself, but a criticism that I've had of Triple H, where he hasn't been able to produce like a top equal heel outside of Roman before he became babyface, because that was
a unicorn.
He walked into that. So that,
unicorn.
And it's kind of like a unique situation because we've also talked about the hardships that come with trying to build a top credible heel with all of social media now, and like a lot of fans root for the bad guys now. So it's not as easy to just make somebody super hateable and then everybody hates them, but they love all the good guys. It doesn't really work like that anymore. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people that tends to like the bad guys. And so I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, but, you are.
Rude ass. So Triple H needs to do something, because it's true. Like, it does get to a point where, we've even talked about it with Cody Rhodes. Like, okay, who's he going to face for the championship if it's not a member of the bloodline? Because when you look at SmackDown, it's like, yeah, Kevin Owens had to turn heel because they needed had to. Yeah, they needed a top heel on there. And fortunately for Cody, he has an intertwining story with him. But if you look beyond that, if Kevin didn't turn, it's like, okay, what does Cody do? So that becomes an issue with long-term storytelling and feuds and building for WrestleMania and stuff like that. Because if they don't, as I said, if they don't have an equal on the other side, that really does limit them from actually like putting together some really good stuff. So
Yeah.
I say it's my rosebud because I like that he's talking about this, and I would like to believe that this means it is like a conversation in the back, or that they're actively trying to fix it, I guess.
Well, it's nice that you have wrestlers talking about topics like this so openly. It's
Yeah.
nice that you can have this discussion without it being that tribalism type warfare that we see online. It's more of an open discussion, not an argument to find a solution. I'm a big fan of those types of interviews, and that's what we've seen now with like CVV, Busted Open, like
They
that
definitely feel like there's more freedom for
way
them.
more freedom because it's marketing in itself.
Well, and it's,
Marketing the
I
brand.
think it's just treating the fans like they're not ignorant. I mean, you might have been able to do this 20 years ago, but that was because the internet wasn't what it is now, where like
No.
everybody knows heel, baby faces, botch,
You can just
like
look it up.
push, whatever. It's like all the insider terms. It's like people know what they are now, and like people think that they're just as smart as the people that write the scripts and stuff every single week. So it's like you have to really be careful about how much you try to act like we don't know, but you also don't want to act or encourage people to get so much inside information that it's not enjoyable entertainment
Yeah,
anymore.
it kills the business.
Yeah.
Don't kill the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if, what Seth had to say, if there's really any legs to it, like if they're going to try and figure that out. But it's like, it's tough because, somebody like Randy Orton would be a solid heel, but he's like having the time of his life right now. And he's done
He's too
so
old.
much
Not
as a
there.
heel that it's
Not
like, it's
there.
fine that he's not right now, but we need somebody to be that person, and that's why I've said before where it's like Drew McIntyre could be that guy on Raw, but he's not right there right now. Judgment Day, they could have done something with Judgment Day, but they didn't do it. So yeah.
Giovanni Vinci would be a good heel to
I
start
know.
bringing up. I'm just playing the advocate.
I know. Him versus LA Knight for the US title.
Yo, that Sarah, sometimes your fandom does bring great ideas. I have to give you that because
Yeah.
I really want to see a Vinci LA Knight feud now based off of interactions alone. Though those
Yeah.
interactions would be pure gold.
Well, and it's
Pure
usually
gold.
pretty funny when they have feuds over something like the United States Championship, or when we thought about like the European Championship, and one of them is like in character, they are super proud of where they're from. There usually is an element to their feud that they use that, and it can be really entertaining. And so it's like, it's kind of, they can go off of the irony of like, why does the Italian want to be United States champion? But like, LA Knight is the United States champion. He loves America. Like he loves, you know what I mean? There's ways that they can go about it the way that they used to, because even like the European title, it wasn't only held by Europeans. So, yeah,
You could bring back the European title.
I loved that, but I don't think they will, because they would have to bring another one back for the other show.
I am thinking when we go to Mania, obviously I'm getting another belt, but I really want the European one.
You need to make up your mind, because you keep talking about which ones you want.
Because Big Gold's awesome. Big Gold is awesome.
I feel like you have to get that. Imagine us. Oh my God, people would think we were dating if we were walking around and you have Big Gold and I have the women's world title.
That would hit the tabloids hard.
Mm-hmm.
The wrestling tabloids.
Mm-hmm.
The dirt sheets. I don't know yet. I will figure it out then. My Rosebud, because I want to say something about AEW,
Mm-hmm.
to balance
Something
it
good
out.
this time.
Well, no, it's all. I mean, I could fangirl for an hour and a half about why the Death Riders are currently the best faction in wrestling and why John Moxley is a fucking king.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's just one element of AEW and whatnot. But my real rosebud is NXT. It is it's becoming more so my top show to watch every week is NXT, and especially this week from the ECW arena. Like, they just did that show so well. Even the aspects where you wish they did more, i.e., Rob Van Dam not competing in the match, but having to be interfering in the match. That's what you needed. You know, I feel like when they touch that line, let me go the other shoulder. They touch that line of, you know, going too far, too gimmicky, whatever. They towed that line so well that it really elevates NXT to more than just this developmental show.
Mm-hmm.
You had a 10 women tag match that main evented the show.
Mm-hmm.
10 women tag matches where the bathroom breaks for the dudes who just couldn't get out there, couldn't find the one to oogle and ogle over the divas, you know. But this match was a hard-hitting tag match with stars.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 10 women main eventing the ECW arena.
Well, and if you think about it too, it was only a couple years ago where women main eventing Raw or SmackDown was kind of like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't think that was going to happen, you know? I mean, it's crazy because if you really think about it, it wasn't even was it even 20 years ago when Lita and Trish main evented Raw, and it was like the first time ever, and it's
Yeah, it
like
was
that really
2004.
wasn't like that long ago, you know? And it's like, and that was a big deal, but even since then it hasn't happened that many times. Especially a one-on-one match, it doesn't happen very often, even more so on Raw. It's not often that women are main eventing Raw. So the fact that we're kind of seeing it a little bit more, especially in NXT, I would like to see it a little bit more on the main roster if warranted, because obviously I don't want it to just be, oh, we're going to put the women in the main event for the sake of doing it.
Giggles,
it's like,
yeah.
no, it needs to make sense. But it would be cool to see it more because I think that they do have the talent and they do have the girls that will be coming up from NXT that could absolutely main event on the main roster.
They proved it. I mean, the fact that Zarya got the pin too.
I know,
that
on
shocked
the champion too.
Not shocked that Roxanne got pinned. I do like that to set up a potential, but I'm shocked that they went with Zarya out of all of them. They're really trying to build up Julia and Stephanie Vacor.
But they just got a win. So I'm sure that's part of it. It's like Zarya's new, so it's like, let's get her some wins, you know.
She's a beast. She's an F5.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
She's really pretty too. Like, I'm not saying you can't tell, but like without the makeup, I was like, oh,
because she's got the paint that's around the eyes, so
yeah, so you can't really tell.
Yeah, you see the character, and she does a very good job at playing the character.
Yeah, I saw an interview with her and she wasn't in makeup, and I was like, oh wow, she's really pretty.
Was
like, it doesn't matter, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't.
No, you can compliment it.
Well, it just sounds like, oh, if she wasn't pretty, like,
no,
or if I didn't think, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean
I know
in a weird way.
what
I
you're
just
saying.
didn't know what she looked like without
No one
it.
did. We didn't see it. She had lightning bolts.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a lot of people didn't know what Sting looked like without makeup, you know, because like even before the white face makeup, he still wore paint on his face. So
he did. All right. Well, that was fun talking about the fun stuff, but now we got to talk about the Bade stuff. Sarah, what is your lemon of the week?
Well, it is about Becky Lynch and how it's not 100% certain that my queen will be coming back. I guess that she was like trending or something. There were rumors about her that was recently going around. because of her contract, I guess it was Jonathan Coachman, ironically, that kind of like started this, saying something about how WWE didn't want to pay her $2 million. And so that brought up a lot of things because people were like, what? That's a lot of money. Or, oh, that's not a lot. That's not enough money. So Fightful obviously figured it out, and $2 million is not what she was getting paid. And if that is what Becky wanted, they would jump on that because obviously that's way under how much money she should be making.
Way under.
But within all of this, he was talking about how they both expect to work together, WWE and Becky, in the future, but that there's nothing ready. Like there's no effort to bring her back anytime soon. The thing was that, what was it? Where did it say? Like, I forget where it said. Oh, it's this. In speaking with both sides upon Becky's absence, it was intimated that each side expected to work together in the future if the situation called for it. That's what made me a little bit sad, because I was like, oh man, like that to me is like, I can't tell if that's just their way of being like, okay, it's not happening soon, but it doesn't mean that's never happening, or if it means like we don't know if it's going to happen, but we'd be open to it. You know, like I just would hate for that to be the end of Becky's career. And part of it also is because of the way she's so disrespected online.
Becky Hogan.
Yeah, that I hate that. I don't like that. It doesn't make any sense to me either. Like, as I said, if you want to call anybody Hogan, give it to Charlotte. It's Charlotte.
Yes.
Like,
you heard me.
You can't even compare the two at all. It does, and I feel like the biggest reason that people started saying it, especially recently, was because she became NXT champion, NXT women's champion. She wasn't NXT women's champion before she got called up to the main roster, but guess who was? You know, and the whole reason she did that elevated Tiffany, because people did not really,
3 women.
Nobody really cared about Tiffany before those matches. You know what I mean? That was when the main roster fans especially got behind Tiffany. And she then propped up Lyra, because I saw people were saying like,
oh, she gave her a good rub.
Yeah. Some people were saying like, just because, you know, some of the girls that she worked with during that run haven't become big stars like Lyra or whatever, that's not on Becky. It has nothing to do with Becky. Like, she specifically wanted to work with these girls, and she did. And if they don't then do something with them, that has nothing to do with her, nor does that mean she's Becky Hogan. You know, I mean, she's done so much for WWE, for the women's division, for women's wrestling in general. So I think it would be kind of sad to see this be the end. And I'd like to think it's not. Like, I get that she's doing a bunch of stuff outside of WWE. She has a book. She's done acting. Now I think she's getting into clothing. She's doing fashion stuff, like modeling and whatever. But I really hope that we get to see her back, because I think that she deserves if she doesn't want to do this for much longer, I think she deserves a better send off. And I think that people need to recognize like how important she is to WWE in the women's division, and why there is kind of like a hole on Raw right now. A lot of it is because Becky's not there.
Yeah. This is more on the lines of Becky having an extended break, because it's well deserved.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is a hole on Raw, but Becky is not necessary to be the one to step into that role again. You know,
well, I don't mean that she needs to be like a champion or anything, I'm just saying, but like she well, because if you look at the women's division on Raw right now, you don't have Rhea, you don't have Becky, like, and then all of the top women basically are on SmackDown. You got Bianca, you got Jade, you got Bailey, you got Nia, you got Tiffany. You know, like, they don't have those equals on Raw. So like, even if you just threw in Becky, it's like automatically okay, that's better.
Damage Control needs to get fully healthy. You don't have Asuka, you don't have Dakota Kai. Oh, why did I just blank on the name? You have those two. Yeah, Liv and Rhea are the ones holding it down. That light is really freaking me out. That light, my light keeps flickering, and it's like freaking me out, and like lost my train of thought. Anyways, SmackDown Women's Division is far more superior than the Raw one.
Well, and that's what makes it a little bit scary about adding Charlotte. Like, I don't want Charlotte on Raw. Charlotte screams SmackDown to me.
No, I want to see Charlotte on Raw.
No, but
you don't think Netflix wants Charlotte? Yes, they do.
I don't. You can make that argument about everybody. They would, maybe they also want Bayley, and they probably want Bianca and Jade, and they probably want Tiffany, but they probably also want Cody Rhodes, and they want Roman Reigns. They can't have everybody. So
yes,
I don't,
because it's Netflix, not a wrestling company.
But they're not going to move all of those people to Raw just so they can be on Netflix.
They're gonna. It's gonna be 4 to 5. You're gonna. Get
I don't think they're gonna do that with Charlotte. But regardless, I'm saying like the fact that she should be joining, especially you have to remember Andrade's on SmackDown. So she's going to want to be on SmackDown. That's really bad for the women's division because it's like so packed.
That's why I think a draft is approaching.
Like, after Mania.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways. That's when they do it. So it's still a while. Unfortunately.
All right. My lemon of the week. I'm going to start with, I hate this Twitter account, but I love following it because it is the prime example of tribalism, and you always need to keep an eye on everything. And the Air Gold _, do you follow them or see them?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's very AEW tribalism account, and the delusion. Like, it's a great belly laugh and great chuckle, but God, that's my heel. That's my feud right now online. But my real lemon of the week when it comes to wrestling are the fans and peeps, you fickle pickles out there. All right. The fickle pickles that do not watch the product intently. There was a rumor going around today that after the actions following the Adam Cole Malachi Black match on Dynamite, the sign of respect, the shaking of the hands, the Adam Cole shout out, key phrase there, shout out, causing Malachi Black to turn around and give a gaze into the audience, kind of soaking it all in type of look. And when I saw this online, because I was driving all day, so I just kind of was scrolling Twitter, and I chose to watch NXT over Dynamite last night. I was like, okay, interesting. I don't see it happening, but interesting if it does. And then he came out with the video that said that he's not retiring. None of that's true, whatnot. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But I wanted to see what's going on in Dynamite. Obviously, the champ needs to know what's going on. So I watched that match. But if you watch, in the match itself did not tease or show that it would be his last match in AEW. If you've been following the MJF, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong saga, it's MJF using the House of Black to get rid of Undisputed Kingdom, and Aleister Black also has not competed in a solos match for God knows how long. The voices in his head that he was saying about, like, he wants to silence the voices, that is his doubts, self-doubts about if he could do it or if he could get back in there or whatever. Point is, it's kayfabe voices. So for everyone that's saying that, I don't know where these rumors come about. This what like annoys me with the internet sometimes, is how does just something like this just catch fire.
It's because it's like one person says something and then everybody just is like, oh yeah.
But we're not all reading. We're not all reading the same book.
Yeah.
Like we're watching the same product, but having different ways of interpreting. That's the word I couldn't fucking think of. Interpreting it. That was not the correct pronunciation.
Interpreting.
interpreting
Yeah.
it. Nailed it.
Interpreting. Yeah.
So we couldn't, if you can't interpret that, then I can't help you when you say that AEW doesn't have long-term story. It's, the way they build feuds, they're not they're not as exciting as the other product or whatnot. No, they're good. They're getting a lot better than what they were. You just have to be watching intently. You have to be following along and not sidetracked by on your phone or talking to so-and-so. Like it's right there, and I gotta give them credit. They're doing a good job.
Well, and it was bad enough that he had to actually like put out a message on social media about it. So, I mean, it was bad enough that, a ton of people were catching on and saying it, but also the fact that it got back to him means like, oh, okay, a lot of people were thinking this was going to happen. It's like, what? I don't get it.
He's been online. That's what that means. All right, let's get some comments here before we head on around the universe.
I'm just gonna head.
I'm just gonna head.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I just watched I watched like a compilation of TikToks, and the one of the girls sleeping, they pour water on her face and she wakes up and is like, hello. I love that one.
Oh my God, I miss Vine.
I say hello like that all the time.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm always just like, hello.
It's me. A potato flew around my room before you came.
Like, what does that even mean?
A potato was flying around the room. That's what it means.
Mm.
Frank.
Or even, wow.
Wow. And they were that one, right? I do. Sara, I am.
Well, my sister and my brother-in-law have no idea what I'm talking about when I just say something. When I'll just be like, wow. When they like,
were they not on Vine? Like, what is?
I didn't have Vine. I just always saw them reposted. So that's how I know them. It's like,
oh, Vine was the shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was I remember, TikTok before TikTok even.
I said something where I was like, that's a lot of chickens, and they didn't get it either. And I was like, how have you not seen that?
God.
Not once in your life.
Look at all those chickens.
Like, what?
Oh my God.
How?
People were complaining between Rhea Ripley, their title reigns, Liv Morgan, their booking was so bad. Yeah, to decipher that. It was pretty. They have a lot of comments about it, but again, back to what I was saying about the long-term story and the feud itself, not just the one match.
That's what we've said too about like with Liv. Like, okay, well, there's unfinished business with Rhea. Exactly. Why would you already want her to move on? Plus, who else is she supposed to feud with? There's a reason they just had a battle royal to determine the number one contender, because she didn't have anybody else now that Rhea's gone. And that's the other thing that they don't remember. Like, Rhea was gone for what, 3 months after she had to forfeit the title. So that was something that, Liv was going with Becky, and then now she's gone again. Like, it's not like we haven't gotten breaks during these reigns. It wasn't just like Rhea Liv. It's like, no, it's not what was happening. But okay.
No, follow along. All right. I like the Celtics. Thank you. I like the Celtics too. And that's all I really have here. Let's hop in the car, Sara, and travel around the Wrestleverse. All right, we got a lot of topics to discuss. Mainly, who's in the car with us? Like, what did we love this week?
I think it's just NXT. That's it.
That's all you're taking?
Mm-hmm.
I like how, you know what? I like how you just are taking one passenger. You don't need a whole car.
No. When one show is just kind of like blowing them out the water, I feel like I don't need you guys. Sorry.
I like that. Good shit. I like that answer. I'm gonna fill up the Fishmobile though. We're going to WrestleMobile at this point. Cross the worlds. NXT definitely riding passenger, riding shotgun, because as you said, it is the number one show. It's must-watch television. Shawn Michaels
also
is just doing what?
Shout out to William Regal wanting to work with Lexis King, because you know why he wants to work with him. So I like that they're going to be putting in effort to try and do all that they can to like make him a well-rounded star, whether he's destined for the mid-card forever or they want to try and push him above that. I don't think it really matters. You can thrive in the mid-card your entire career. I don't, but I think that's pretty cool because he gets shit online a lot.
He's not that bad.
People are cringed out by his facial hair. I get it. But now he basically does it to piss people off. So
it's a bit.
That's not how he what he looks like in his day-to-day life. It's like he only does that when he's performing, which I think it's hilarious. Yeah. Because Jeff Hardy did weird shit with his beard too, and no one said anything because Jeff Hardy, but
Jeff Hardy painted his eyelids. Okay, let's not.
But he also used cuts in his beard, and it was tiger stripes, and it was what are you doing? So that's what I'm saying.
2000s were incredible.
Yeah,
Lexus King with Regal is awesome. Especially I loved how when he does the entrance with the throne.
I love it.
He had Regal come on this week.
Mm-hmm.
Regal sit in the throne, genius.
Yeah, but it just means a lot when it's someone like Regal that's yeah, I want to work with him.
Oh, absolutely. And with going off of that too, the interaction that Regal had with his legit son, the way they did it was not over the top, their father and son. Their dialogue, what they were saying to each other, the way they were that is how it should be done. That is why WWE is the number one brand, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. That's why they're number one, is because they do things with detail. They don't just hit you over the head with it. They make you want more. I love it. And then I'll put Raw and SmackDown hasn't happened yet, but I'll go off last week's show. No, screw it. SmackDown right middle. Because I liked AEW this week. I really did. AEW is getting a lot better. They are killing it with the whole Death Riders Moxley Combat Club. Yeah, Remy. Yeah. What do you think of the Moxley Combat Club? Do you want to tell us your thoughts? You got a microphone right there. Just grab it with your paw and then answer the question. Okay, cool. So back to the point. AEW also was crushing with the Hurt Syndicate. That is I'm a big fan. MVP is a magician.
But how does Cedric Alexander feel about it? That's what I want to know.
He's getting replaced by Ricochet. So,
but still,
also Powerhouse Hobbs should be part of the Hurt Syndicate. Why is that? If that doesn't happen, I'm going to Jacksonville myself and writing that in. I will find my way into the facility. Do you know how many open doors there are in Boston? You just got to look. So yeah, that's who's riding with me this week. Remy, who's in your car? Okay, cool. Speaking of NXT, who's riding shotgun? I saw this online.
No.
I saw a tweet. Hear me out. I saw a tweet that this feels like the year for an NXT superstar to win the Royal Rumble. And they also said women's, not men's.
No.
Still not really.
No.
Really. I say what you're saying to the men, no shit, no shot. I mean, you can't do that. There's no star big enough there. With the women, I think it's possible.
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Because I think that they're probably going to want Tiffany versus Charlotte on SmackDown. Okay. And if they're going along with what we think it's going to be Liv versus Rhea. So,
I mean, that's going to happen. Yeah.
I think people would want to see those matches over, one of them versus an NXT person. That feels more like the way that they're trying to build up WrestleMania 41. It almost feels like they're trying to make it bigger than 40, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I get that they try to build upon the year before, but they were like, it's the 40th one. Like that was such a big deal, but now they're treating the 41st like it's the, the 40th. That to me feels more like let's put the Charlotte and Tiffany, because it's like, the old and the new with Liv and Rhea, because that's been a feud that's been going on for a year at that point. That feels like more of what they would do. And I assume that means Tiffany is the women's champion. That's all. That's what I mean. I mean, if that wasn't, because that's the only way I think that they would face each other, Charlotte and Tiffany. I don't know how they could like really develop that. I think the way to make it like over the top is someone has to be champion. And right now that looks like it would be Tiffany, not Charlotte.
Not even like a Julia. Not even like a Julia.
No, I don't. I mean, I think that's a Vince thing, in my opinion, to bring her up, have her win the Rumble, and then automatically like her first match on the main roster as a title match. That feels like a Vince move, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that you really need to do that. Like, in my eyes, Julia is a big star. Yes, of course. But I don't think that she needs something like that to like get her over, like and quickly. Like, I don't think that mindset needs to be applied to her. I think her debut on the main roster, whenever that might be, is going to be a big enough moment. Like, could she be in the Rumble? Sure. But I don't think that we're at a point yet where she needs to win it. Because if you think about it, that's like in like 2 months. So I don't know.
Only if she lost the title.
Yeah.
Then I could.
Yeah. Because there's no point.
That would be the only person I realistically could see winning the Royal Rumble. Has to obviously lose the championship, the NXT Women's Championship somehow, but she's ready. I would say out of all those three, or
funny, she
turned
23.
No, but what if it was the no? But I'll give another. That's crazy though. But I'll give another point. What if a NXT person wins the Rumble and they challenge for the NXT title? Charlotte.
That's a waste, though, in my opinion.
You don't want to see like what if it's okay.
I say it's a waste because then they have to try and figure out like, okay, who's getting the main event? Like, they would have to try and put together a story already instead of using the Rumble as a launch pad for their story for the next 3 months,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just going based off of what they do, what they've been doing recently,
I'm with you.
But I don't know. I think it'll happen eventually. Just I don't think this year.
Let's get to it because it's the most breaking of news stories going on right now that the WWE ID program has announced their first signings with the company. And as I pull up the signings, the first one is a Beyond Wrestling guy who I have watched live, Bryce Donovan. He actually made his name, though, Create a Pro. Sarah. I saw someone tweet that he was like the John Cena of Create a Pro. So those are some key buzzwords for you. Might be one of your guys in the future. Zeta Steel, who's wrestling or scouted from CZW. She lives in DC. Interesting. She was in MLW or still is in MLW. She was working an angle with my buddy, the Victorious BRG. Obviously, both have gone their separate ways. Brett's gone a little rogue. But she's crushed it. She was in Beyond a little bit, and then she went to Marigold in Japan. She's
only 22.
Yeah, she's tiny too. She's a fast one. She's athletic.
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of value in her in NXT in like a couple of years, maybe like a year and a half. We'll be optimistic. Maybe a year and a half. And then this one was, I think, minutes before we went live. Sarah, it might be the best name that I've seen from an indie wrestler in a very long time.
Yep.
Cold Brew Cappuccino Jones.
I'm obsessed.
I am friggin' obsessed with it. Wrestling out of Kansas.
I'm only bummed because I think if he came to WWE, they would make him change his first name. But like, come on.
But Cappuccino is just a thing. It's not.
I know, but it's like that's not a WWE name,
Anything's possible in the Triple H.
I mean, it's possible, and I feel like they could. I guess if they had to change it, or if they felt like they had to, there's definitely something they could try and come up with that still goes off of coffee, to keep his finishers and stuff like that. Because like the decaffeinator, hell yeah.
Oh, that's the decaffeinator
So
may
cool.
be one of the best names for a finisher I've heard in a very long time.
Yeah. So I'm excited because I haven't necessarily heard of these people, but I'm not like well in tune with the indie scene or anything. But based off of some of the comments that I was seeing, the replies to this is like people were excited about these people so
Yeah.
far, and it just shows you that WWE is really doing their research. Like they're not just going to the most obvious top indie brands that like everybody has heard of, and it's like,
Known
of course
everywhere.
you went and tried to get, so and so and so and so. It's like, no,
From
these
Booker
are,
T's
yeah,
school,
yeah. So
like, yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like that they're actually going out there and scouting and not just going about it like the most obvious and easy way. Like they're actually
Yeah.
trying to get people that they think are really good right now and probably have really high potential, because there's going to be an overload of indie people, but that doesn't mean that they're WWE bound, like that they
No,
could be
it's
polished into the next big star.
yeah, as someone
But
who follows the indie scene a little bit and has gone to Limitless Wrestling, highly recommend. Highly recommend if you're in New England to go to Yarmouth, Maine to watch Limitless Wrestling. Bryce Donovan, I watched it, Limitless Wrestling. He's part of a tag team called the Shook Crew with Bobby Orlando. Top 3 tag team I've seen live. First, pure entertainment value. Then I started watching Bryce on IWTV and his singles run and whatnot. He's very good for a bigger guy. He's a lot more athletic than most people his size. And he's someone that you could build, that he's a good face for your company. I'll go there. So I'm very happy for him, and it's awesome to see someone that you related to sports, like you watched in college, like you watched in his collegiate days, and now he gets drafted or called up to the big leagues, or he's
yeah.
being scouted by the big leagues. Like it's a really cool thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact he is not the last name we will see come out of Beyond, because Beyond Wrestling has some of the most underrated talent I've seen. They can work.
Well, and we might see more come out of Booker T, because they're also, I think they're working with him, but
They're working with
they're working with the Nightmare Factory.
they're
I
working
know
with the
that.
Nightmare. They're working with Booker T's. They're working with Rikishi's. I don't know what
Yeah,
Flatbacks is. I
I don't
haven't
know.
seen that yet. But I'll be definitely on the lookout. And it's awesome. It
This
really
is
makes
also like another opportunity for like current wrestlers or whatever to, something that they can do whenever they're done in ring. Like if you don't want to necessarily be a producer, you could always be like a
you can be a
scout,
scout.
or you
You can be a
can like
scout.
have your own school or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that is such a unique opportunity in wrestling that no one ever thought would be there. But that would be like a fun job. Like you get to go around and go to different indie schools and like just like look and see, oh wow, okay, I was really impressed with this person here and that person there, and they might be one we want to watch. Like that's, I don't know, that would be pretty
That's a
fun.
really good idea. Even if someone like Becky Lynch, she's taking an extended break. Becky, you know what? We'll pay you a certain amount of money to go over to this indie show close to you. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Or
You can
even
make a weekend out
overseas.
of it. Or yeah, you can make a weekend out of it. It'll be very lackadaisical, but go scout. Let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
And show on break. It's a little, and it's what you said. I love the idea.
Yeah, I think it sounds like they're trying to go about it a little bit more like a professional sports league. So if that's the
Yes,
case, then that makes sense.
very much so. Very much
It
agree.
also might help like motivate some people in the indies now, because it's like, all right, now it's not. But obviously, there are people who are in the indies who just, that's all they want to do. They just want to wrestle on the
Indie
weekend and they're
star.
fine with that. But then there's going to be a lot of them that like they've always dreamt about going to WWE or now AEW, TNA, whatever. And this
Mm-hmm.
might be a little bit more motivating to them to be like, oh, okay, WWE is actually out here watching, and like you aren't going to know if they're in the audience or something. So that might be cool to see too, to be like, okay, how is this motivating some people, and who is going to come because of that? I don't know. That could be really fun.
It's gonna be interesting to see. It definitely will be. I'll let you rant about this because you saw
Okay.
this and wanted to bring it up. Chelsea Green living out her WWE dream. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't agree more from what I've seen on screen and what she said about it. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about it because I feel like Chelsea has a lot of fans. Um, Obviously because she's so entertaining that you can't help but want to see what she's going to do next. But there's a lot of people who also kind of criticize her, but some in a good way. There are people who are like, okay, she could be doing so much more. She's so much better than what we're seeing. And then of course there's the people who say she sucks and she can't do this and that and whatever. And those are just people who don't know her beyond what they're seeing right now. So obviously we don't care about what they have to say. But as great and good intentioned people are with their concerns, Chelsea is loving what she's doing right now, and that's why I wanted to highlight it. So she said, I feel like this is everything I wanted the first go around. When they say everything happens for a reason, I truly am like, oh, I'm living this. There was a reason that I got released, and then I went out there and explored every avenue of the indies, and I came back. I'm doing exactly what I want right now because look at it. You give someone the freedom and the platform to express themselves properly, like I've been given right now, and success. So I think like you couldn't hear anything better from her because sometimes it is just one of those things. Like if you want to talk about Samantha Irvin, right? Like the most recent example of like everybody, well, 90% of wrestling fans loved Samantha and how she announced, and she was so good at it and such a natural, but she didn't love what she was doing. And sometimes that's just what it is. Like you're good at what you're doing, but you're not enjoying it behind the scenes. And there's certainly an argument to be made that maybe that was the case with Chelsea, but that's not the case.
No.
She definitely has aspirations to be women's champion, and I don't see that not happening for her ever. I'm sure she will be. So it's nice to hear her saying that like she's living her best life right now. And so people saying that she's not used properly or she would be so much better if she was back in TNA, blah blah blah. Well, she doesn't feel that way. So
No.
I think it's important to remember that because she's happy with what she's doing. And I think it's obvious when you watch her performing, if it's just a backstage segment or she's doing, Chelsea's confessions, whatever, you can tell this girl is having the time of her life. And I think that's partially what makes her so good,
Look at what she's doing with Piper Niven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the duo is incredible.
They're so
And when
good.
it first started, everyone's like, "Oh, why they put these two together? They're so opposite. It will never work."
No.
They're like peanut butter and jelly. They're
But
incredible.
that
The
also
chemistry
allowed
they have.
that opportunity made it so that Piper could be more her natural self too. That's something that people aren't thinking about because they were trying to put her out there as this like hardcore, European, like big, strong, dominant force, almost
Monster,
like
literally
Nia
a monster.
Jax, but the
Yeah.
European version. And it's like you get it because she's built so differently than what WWE typically likes in a female wrestler. So it's easy to just go down that route, but it doesn't allow them to have a lot of personality. And that's something that we've said, like with Nia, like they're still going with like she's gonna squash you and she's dominant and she's this and that, but you're seeing so much more personality from her that makes her even like not necessarily a likable heel, but so much better than her first time around. And I think they were trying to do the heelish thing, and they kind of do with Piper. But the fact that we're able to see like a sillier side to her or a little bit more of like who she really is, I think that makes it her and Chelsea. It's like they're doing so good because of that.
They do a really good job with it. They really are.
Yeah, they really are.
All right. Back to NXT because I just can't stop talking about it. They aired on Wednesday this week because some event happened on Tuesday. Couldn't tell you what it is. So they had to move it to Wednesday when we got the Wednesday Night Wars of NXT going head to head against AEW, and the results are in, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
AEW lost
Again.
They lost again.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to NXT. NXT pulled in 6-1 booyaka 619,000 viewers. AEW brought in 523,000. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know
I
what
mean,
the point of 1.6 and
I
0.17p. I don't get that, and I even went to that type of school. But point
so
is, AEW lost again.
yeah, I mean it's a small margin, but when you consider that NXT, even if we've sat here and praised it and said it's been better than Raw and SmackDown, it's still only their developmental brand. It's not supposed to be better than their, another company's flagship program. And it has been consistently. Like, it doesn't matter. They air on different nights, they still beat them. They go head to head, they beat them. Like, it's and like I said, there are AEW fans who are upset about this. Obviously, I think that the weekly numbers when they're on Tuesday and Wednesday, I don't think that's necessary because they're airing on different nights and up against different stuff. So I don't think that they need to do that every week like some aggregator accounts do. But when they go head to head, people are going to be interested to see, okay, how are the numbers playing out, right? So like it makes sense. But I think the people who are AEW fans and that's their show, like they're very anti WWE, as I said to you before we went live, like just accept where they're at. Like, who cares if they didn't beat NXT? Like, do you care? Does that mean you're going to stop watching, on Wednesdays? Are you going to stop watching it?
No, they
It's
lost
like,
because WWE is the number one promotion. They
and the
are the
fact,
number
I mean,
one.
if you want to try and look at it, it's like they didn't even lose by 100,000.
Yeah, they're
So,
getting better. That's what I've been saying this entire time. Like you can see a shift in AEW where the product is getting better. The storytelling is getting better. The people that they're bringing in, the younger stars that were just lower level jobbers, lower mid carders jobbers, and they're coming into a whole new role, getting better. Like you have to take the small wins when you can get them. And look they've only been around for 5 years. That's incredible.
well, and I feel like such a broken record because it's like we've said this so many times, like just accept AEW where they're at, accept how much they have grown since they started, accept
Seriously.
like the potential that they have to grow further. It's just, I think that people just love to be miserable. So they just look for things to be
Yeah.
miserable and to complain about. And it's like, so there's nothing that can ever make them happy. And it's like, okay, just watch Dynamite, dude. Like, who cares if NXT did better? You're not watching it. You don't like WWE stuff, so then stop caring. Like, I don't care about what AEW is doing. You know what I mean? Because I don't watch. I don't care. I don't know. I just think that people just need to be like, chill out. It's not that big of a deal.
Misery loves company.
Mm-hmm.
Let's remember that. Sarah, the Bloodline are adding a new member. What?
I mean, potentially two from
I
what we've
know.
seen.
Yeah, it's two. And that wasn't even the one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Lance Anoi was allegedly signed.
Anoi. Is it?
And
Ano-
Anoi. Lance
Anoi.
Anoi.
Yeah.
He signed allegedly in June with the WWE. He's already been on WWE programming before. He did a program with Roman, his cousin, before. But the reports are saying that he signed a contract back in June. We saw how long they waited for Jacob Fatu and the Tongans to bring them onto television. I like this move. If he signed, great. They're going to add another. That just means the Bloodline story is going to continue, and we're going to get more family members to make this more of a Bloodline story than what it was before, and that was the championship.
Yeah, and then Zilla Fatu is rumored to be joining the WWE ID program. So clearly it's not stopping anytime soon. I think that I would be interested to see what they do immediately because Zilla is still in the indie, so I don't mean that, but someone being signed in June, it's 5 months later. The Bloodline story is expected to be the headline match at Survivor Series. Are they going to bring him in? Is he going to be on a team? Is he going to be, which team is he going to be on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but it is intriguing that this news is coming out now and Survivor Series is not that far away. And we've already talked about, like, is it going to be 4-on-4? Is it going to be 5-on-5? And if how are they going to split it if it is 5-on-5? I'm intrigued. I also am curious though, like, we know that there are so many members of this family
and they're going to keep procreating.
Well, I just wonder, are they forever destined to just be a part of the bloodline story? Because that wasn't their intention always. You know, it's like when they brought in the Usos, it was like, yeah, they're Samoan, but Rikishi's their dad. That was really what it was. It wasn't like, oh, they're also related to, you know, this person and The Rock and this person and this person. That became more relevant during the bloodline. So it's like, I wonder if they're just going to keep doing that. Because in a way, it makes sense, but also it's not the most fair, you know, because it's like you don't necessarily want to be tied to one singular thing, but that might be their future right now because the bloodline is the biggest story in the company. So
they are, and they're going to be the biggest story in the company for years and years to come if they do this right. It would this signing, yeah, obviously it could be a potential debut at Survivor Series. I see it more that they're trying to build something bigger with the bloodline so that it has its own segment or whatnot on a weekly show. You know, maybe they're going to do bloodline on SmackDown and Raw, you know, because Jay's on Raw. They need to do something with him post War Games if he's not going after the Intercontinental Championship. The bloodline story is going to keep going because of guys like that, and you're going to see it be a staple in wrestling, and we're going to see families more be mentioned and, you know, highly touted. You know, it is a really, I'm excited to see how they go about this.
Agreed.
All right. And Netflix wants to broadcast more than just Monday Night Raw starting in January. They also are interested in broadcasting the live events on the road to WrestleMania over in Europe because
at least the Raws. I don't know what the other stuff, but
yeah,
I
but
don't know.
aren't they going to be on Raw? Aren't they going to be on Raw? It's Netflix on anyways.
Wait, what?
They're
Yes,
going to
but
be
I'm
on.
saying they would be showing them live. That's a difference is what I mean. I don't, because it would, you know, that would be like in the afternoon for us because
and
they're
that would be the first. That would be the first Netflix live broadcast.
so that's
Yo.
they're supposed to be live for Raw, but I'm saying it would be the first international live broadcast of Raw in quite some time. So I think that is what they're saying that they're interested in doing because obviously they would tape it and then America would see it later.
Yeah.
They're interested in having it live as it's happening. And I think it's just Raw. I don't think it's for everything because I think the other ones are house shows. But yeah, like that would be pretty cool because, like, you know, as great as it is to be on at a good time for the rest of the world, obviously, it would be nice that it's not spoiled for us in America. And
exactly,
it's just a lot cooler, you know, because when we were growing up, they used to do live shows and stuff, and that it would be fun for that to happen.
I want to see it because live, if it's live for everyone overseas, that's going to shake up the flow of things. Like you're going to get people thrown off on watching it. And it's going to add, I think it's very good for social media.
I think that's what they're going to do with Raw in general, though. Like, I think that when Raw's on Netflix, it's going to be live for everybody. I feel like they have to do it that way.
They have to.
Like, it has to be on for me at the same time as you know, because, like, I think that you're really setting it back if you're not giving us that option. You know, if we're paying for Netflix, then I feel like I shouldn't have to wait. And that's the thing anyway. Like when they say, oh, this new series, it's available at midnight. Typically it's available for everybody once the East Coast hits midnight. So I think that it won't matter if it's like, oh, Raw is live at 8 p.m. Eastern. No, it's going to be on at 5 p.m. for me. That's how it should be, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what they should do in the European tour. I feel like that would be pretty cool. I don't care if it's on at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me. I don't care.
That'd be nice. Monday afternoon Raw.
Yeah, it might be on at like 4 or 5 p.m. for you or something. I don't know how far ahead they are, but that would be pretty cool.
I don't know what England is. Maybe it's 3 o'clock.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think when All In was on, but anyways. Then before we get into the 3 count, Sarah, you can't bet on WWE. Came out to the TKO president. I'm gonna find his name. Because I need to know his name. Mark Shapiro. TKO president states that sports betting in WWE is not happening per CNBC. I go two ways with this because the money hungry, I love, the money guy wants money, all this, whatever you want to call it. I'm bummed because I would bring in dough. Okay. I'm just going to I would rake in the cash if they did that. You would too. We would crush it if that was the case.
That might be one reason why they don't want to do it.
Which leads me to my next point, because it would essentially kill the business.
But also, go ahead.
There's so much that goes into sports betting. As someone who has connections at 2 betting sites and work in the inner workings of it, you got to remember that it's sports entertainment for a reason. Okay, it's not UFC. It's a performance. It's a live performance with combat. So because of that, you have to think of it like Marvel. All right, you don't bet on Marvel movies or Harry Potter or whatever franchise, Star Wars. If you did that, that would be leaking the info to the public.
Yeah.
Spoilers in the bad way.
Well, and we've talked about that before when we've talked about this becoming a thing where it's like this would then force WWE to like literally script matches like move for move, and then they would have to like give it to the better, whatever, the companies that are overseeing the betting and be like, okay, it's like how many spears are going to be in this match, and it's like 1 more than 3. It's like, yeah, they're going to need to know that information, but I mean, there's a way I guess they could do without it, but it's a little bit risky. So it's like it would be too screwy. And like I said to you when we talked about it before we recorded, like there are so many other things that you can bet on. You really don't need to be betting on wrestling. Like I think that would start to take the fun out of it for some people. Because it would be about like, oh my God, I can't believe Roman only hit 2 Superman punches. I had him going for 3. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine? Like that kind of stuff
sweating
is like
an over-under on German suplexes.
Like
that would be incredible.
That would be fun.
All right, one more. Give me one more.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, do you see how pissed people get when it's like, oh my God, I said that this running back was going to get 100 yards and they end at 98, like that kind of thing. And then they like throw their phone because they're so pissed. I'm like, you don't need to get like that over wrestling. It's not that serious.
It would be so funny if you're just watching a match and there's a oh, I thought they would have a table in this match, or they use a chair. I didn't predict it. Like, there's
oh my God, Jimmy only hit 3 super kicks. I said he would hit 5. Like, oh my God,
was set at 4.5.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know. I wish in a nonsense world
we could always do that for like fun. Like if we're doing predictions for pay-per-views or something, be like, okay, how many times are we going to see his finisher? Whatever.
If we're gonna do that, I gotta start keeping track of this in like a notebook or something, or like
maybe we should just start at the beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year, let's do it.
Like for Royal Rumble.
Yes, and Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I'm doing
a
the
pool.
again.
I'm going to be in 2 pools this year. So my boss is doing one.
Oh,
I
am
know.
I Mr. Popular or are you now? Like, whoa.
I don't know.
Mr. Popular over here with 2 Rumble pools. I'm only
I know.
one.
I know.
God.
I'm going to get screwed in both of them probably. I'll probably get like 17 and like 7.
17's produced a winner.
Whatever.
Do you know who that winner was?
Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know.
No. John Cena.
Bay. That's Bay. I thought you were Bay, but you're just fam.
You're just fam. Road work ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure
I hope
does.
so. Yeah.
Oh
So
my
stupid.
God, it's so funny. I miss mine. Well, it's a good signal for the one. Wrong hand. You can't. You're hurt. We can't do that. We gotta express it. 1, 2, 3 count. Sarah, I'm bringing back 20 questions for one. All right. We replaced it with Throwback Thursday. We got to switch it up. And I don't think we've done this one yet. So we're going to do managers. All right. 20 questions, managers. To make it interesting, no Paul Heyman.
Okay.
No Paul Heyman.
Okay.
Do you have one?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Man or woman?
Woman.
Blonde or brunette?
Blonde.
Is it Sunny?
No.
Oh. Oh, Trish Stratus.
No.
Oh, good. Okay. Added. Did they manage in the early 2000s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Early mid 2000s.
Early mid 2000s. 2000s. Okay. SmackDown or Raw?
I think more so on Raw.
More so on Raw. Okay. Did she manage tag team champions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You said blonde, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stacy Keibler? No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Stacy Keibler?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
My other one was gonna be Rico. Should have probably
Rico was the shit. I fucking love Rico. The sideburns.
I'm not gonna be good at this one.
I'm picking an easy one.
Okay.
I'm picking one that you absolutely know.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it a man or a woman?
It is a woman.
Okay. Was she in the Attitude Era?
Start of it.
The start. Oh, okay. So it's not. Is it Sunny?
Yeah, it is Sunny.
Okay. Okay. Golly.
It was easy.
That was the quickest I've ever gotten one.
That was the quickest you ever got it. See, that was the first one that came to mind because I started singing. I know you want me. I know you want me. I know you want me, baby. I didn't even get to the comments. Jimmy Hart would have been a good one. Jacqueline. Rumble in January. Yes, it is.
I think it's in like early February, isn't it?
Wait, it is in February,
year?
actually. It usually is in January, but it's in February this year.
Yeah, because they like it to be like the last weekend of the
yes. Micah, they usually do throwback episodes of Raw and SmackDown.
Well, they're doing Saturday Night Main Event, so that feels like what we're getting this year.
I'm so happy for that.
Is especially that with the shown
Peacock?
Oh, okay.
Which is complete full circle.
My friend is going there. He's going.
Really?
2 of my coworkers are going.
That's actually sick. But it's full circle, Sara.
So.
Do you know why it's full circle?
No.
Because the original Saturday Night's Main Event was broadcasted on NBC.
Mm.
Who owns Peacock?
Me.
NBC. So full circle moment. Wrestling repeats itself. Remember that. And 2, I have a fun one for 2, Sara. Okay. I'm going to give you a word of the day. All right. And I want you to try to find a way to use it. Not just you, but the peeps. I want the peeps and you and whoever will listen to find a way to insert this into your conversation today. The word of the day is Adonisly. It can be used for anything. Would you like to go to the store and want to go grab a drink? Oh, Adonisly. Oh, how you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling Adonisly pretty good. I don't know what that was. But anyways, word of the day is Adonisly. All right. That was embarrassing. And 3, that was
I was trying to think of it in a way like Usi, but it's kind of hard when it's Adonis Lee. Like it would be like Adonisy. That could be like Usi. Like I was feeling a little bit Usi.
All right. Well, you guys figure out a way to use it because I'm going to try it on my parents, and that's not going to go well, but I'm excited. And 3, to wrap it up, Sara, we're back. We're back. All right. My baseball team has wrapped up their season. So they won the World Series. Thank you. Wow. They won the World Series. So I came back and I want to see how you were doing brutalizing the women's division. Apparently you got yourself into some shit. Like some shit. As I mentioned last week, you essentially are doing the whole Liv, Rhea, Dom love triangle, but in the Nonsense Wrestling Federation. And you got burned, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, he caught on to you. He caught on to your tricks and oh, sorry, I just got a text. See, you fell for their mind games and you were played like a fiddle by Rhea and caused Psycho Sally to not be your friend anymore because you turned on her. Whole thing. All right, it was very rude. But Psycho Sally's in NXT. You're on Raw. You're the main event. So after we had the main event with Rhea, Mick Foley asked us to have a hardcore match with Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, okay.
I gladly accepted that on your behalf. So you beat the shit out of her in a hardcore match. That was a lot of fun.
That's what I do.
You were really bad in that match. You hitting her with trash cans and kendo sticks. And then my new favorite thing to do with the bad gal, I made your signature move, the RKO.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a reason I did it, and I just remembered it now. Randy Orton, when you were, I think in the brutality area, he helped you out. So then I made your thing the RKO. It's so fun to see you just hit RKOs out of absolutely nowhere. It just when you're down and out, whatever. So we hit a lot of RKOs on Stephanie McMahon. And then the next thing to do in our story is interact with Liv Morgan. And Liv Morgan tells us to go to Hollywood because she had a lot of acting roles and all this. So we're exploring that chapter of the bad gal. And you get some role on a cheese web series.
Okay.
Which, can't you not eat cheese in real life?
No, I cannot.
Yeah, that's nonsense. There we go. A cheese web series where a talent agent discovered you.
Okay.
It looked like he was catfishing you because you were sending him money and, taking his advice. Yeah, not good. Not good. So you're taking his advice, but then you were talking to Geneva, your gal pal, and she was like, he's fake. Like, he's catfishing you. This dude's just taking you for a ride. And you're like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. Well, you're in a match. I forget with who. I think Katana Chance or one of the Electric Carnival girls. And he interfered.
Oh.
He got in your match. Oh, it was always Stark you were in a match with.
Oh.
He interfered and cost you the match.
What?
So security knocks him out. You had to help him, not get arrested.
His name is Psycho Sal.
His name is so much worse.
Oh, jeez.
You know what? It's Psycho Sal. We're going to call him Psycho Sal because it's like Alfred or Albert. No, it's like something with an A, but I like Psycho Sal. So Psycho Sal talks to you after the show and is like, I'm sorry, like I'm real. I know that blah, 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 but I'm serious that I am a talent agent. I can get you on a movie with either Dave Bautista or John Cena. And if there's anything I know about you or I've learned about you in the 3-4 years that we've been friends, is that you love John Cena more than anything. So a movie with him is like a dream, a fantasy. So we did it. You did the movie.
That's right.
All right. And you crushed it. But you came back. You're a little sassy, a little pompous. All right,
Well,
you got some arrogance, dude.
I'm a big deal now.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're saying, is that you walking around like you're a big deal.
I'm kind of a big
Regal,
deal.
General Manager William Regal comes up to you and says, thanks for returning. So happy to see you again. Here's the plan, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, that's great. I have my own entrance planned. All right, I am my own entrance. So just go with the flow. No one tells William Regal to do that, except for the bad gal, apparently. So you come out to the ring through a door in like a furry coat. You got the shades on, very Eminem, like very Eminem with the fashion sense. You win the match against, I forget who, doesn't matter. And then it cuts to you and Regal on your new tour bus. Pimped out tour bus. You got like pretty much like a Cody bus, but Sara.
That's right.
So I stopped it there. I got off the bus and had to go to my other teams and shows on the Nonsense Sports Network that I attend to. So I left you on the bus, but you were with Chelsea Green and someone else. So you were having a time. All right, you and Chelsea were living it up with someone else and talking. I don't know what, probably about how she's loving her new run in WWE
and how she's a queen and stuff,
and how you're both queens. So I let you guys just have your fun, and I went to the NSN and played another team, my football team, the Militia. Okay, which crushing. My Patriots team is 8-1. Not the real life.
Yeah.
I think I know a thing or two. So we'll see you. We'll come back on the bus. We'll meet you back on the bus in a week or in a few days. I'm not streaming it anymore. So at this point, I'm really just going at my own pace because I do have big plans for 2025 with that. Now we got the YouTube channel. We're doing more stuff. And that's why we are growing and moving forward. Thank you guys for tuning into this edition of No Nights Off. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live. We'll be back on Saturday for the SmackDown Breakdown. Not a taped SmackDown. It will be live. All the shenanigans that happen at Crown Jewel. Have to dissect that, of course. And in the meantime, you can see what we're just talking about in the wrestling world, in our own worlds, in your world, whatever, on our social media pages that are linked in the links in the description below. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you on Saturday. Yeah. Is it you spinning? Oh, Gunther.